I mean, it's predominantly going to be what we sometimes call like the Death Star Trench, that big, deep road that cuts directly from east to west out of it. That's going to be like a line of demarcation. Oh, nice shots coming out from Besto to get down onto Shinboy. Going to go ahead and pick up that flush. That's a little bit rough for our last week winners, already losing one very early.
Okay.
Harassing Team Liquid as they're trying to approach the circle. A couple of small movements here and there. You can see Tig get the spray back over towards shots on to Lin Shun from Tianba. Well, it happened the exact same time as we saw Shinboy go down. But yeah, I have to follow up on what you're talking about, Pansy. There's plenty of territory. There's so many dips and little cubbies and trenches that you can play inside the circle and use it to rotate, as you can see what Loki's doing right now. Sure, you catch a little bit of airtime as you're going through there, but there's enough like easy passes until we see like I would say circle 3 or potentially like a very dire hard shift. Everything's going to be pretty calm for right now. It's just a matter of what happens when this next circle updates.
Hey, it's centered up, no problem again for most teams. And when you play those outskirts, when you play those longer rotations, this is always going to be a potential factor, is that you get kind of screwed on this. I want to look at how Liquid approach.
There is a little bit of a mess starting to happen down here towards the south. Traffic jam starting to build up as we've got T1, Afreeca Freecs, Infantry, Oath, all approaching on a similar angle. Akari gets the spray back over towards Star-Lord. Going to go ahead and flush that one out pretty quickly. T1 playing on the closer part to Azahar. So that means the fact that it's all the other teams that are starting to encroach back over towards their direction.
Outside of that, though, a couple of those outskirt teams working through, and Ence were one of them. Now, Soniqs are actually in a pretty good spot to see this. I don't think Ence have any idea, and Diggory, oh, dearie me, just gets caught in the heels and put in the dumpster. Absolutely no chicken strips for you today, Diggory. Nade comes out. Does it bounce well enough? That's a belter of a nade.
Whew, there is not much you can do about that one. Diggory is just down and dusted. Multi-Circle Gaming taking the shots at them, but looks like they've got their eyes set back over towards where Petrichor Road is playing at. So, oh, James gets a little bit of a flip going through at a very troublesome time. Infantry is going to get vision onto this as well, and now Team Liquid is just circling through the wide open territory that you were just talking about. There's not a lot of options. Looks like Mixie is just going to opt into sending it straight up next to Infantry, and that could be a huge problem.
They've got nowhere to go. Mexi looks dead in the water, just a turtle turned over, finally rights himself, but that spray is good from Longsker, providing some true accuracy. And this has to be a pull-up now. Liquid going to be culled down on the way through, though. That's 2 massive kills. Nine's made like work of them, and Liquid, I guess, clutching at straws for this rotation. The first to really fall foul to this circle after having maybe grander plans than they could really pull off. Trying to send right in towards Infantry, past Petrichor Road. It's been the death of them.
I mean, you have a couple of teams that are probably going to die trying to rotate in, or at least taking a couple of casualties, but the next circle is just going to be destruction. There are so few options at this stage. You can see DA is just trying to do anything they can to cling to life, and a little bit of a dip they found. T1's trying to hold up some type of defense, but it is a quick back and forth between them and Daytrade. Daytrade is still just continuing to try to get as much control over this as they can. Keep in mind, Tianba is just north of this positioning as well, so it's a very back and forth fight to try to avoid Tianba's lines of sight. Meanwhile, Infantry could see something that's going on, but back over towards the south, Soniqs hears this, is moving to a little bit more of a advantageous position to where they can try to capitalize off of whoever wins it. Adder trying to find some type of angle to get some vengeance back over towards Daytrade, but just cannot seem to find anything in this back and forth urban fight.
Under the pressure, but now Besto's got a bit of a beat on them, and Na'Vi have been pretty underwhelming so far as a collective, but we know they are the sleeping giants as it stands. They are still a dangerous team, and they currently have, I'd say, better position until you account for Gen.G appearing on the backlines. Do they overextend for this, or does Gen.G hold and wait to pick up those scraps?
Oh, Miramar and the third parties that they constantly bring. Good peek back over here from Summer. Picks up 2. Gets a little bit of assistance off the side of it from Ling Du. But this is a problem for Na'Vi. There is nowhere to go, and they get instantly dropped. Multi-Circle Gaming does get control back over towards the north, but Gen.G and now Oath back over towards the south. Does this look like they might be trying to make a little bit of a play as well? Gen.G trying to capitalize, trying to find the angle through the smokes. Not going to get anything just quite yet, but that is going to force Gen.G to maybe reposition away as Multi-Circle Gaming is having to just dodge grenade upon grenade that lands down at their feet. Yeah, it's so hazardous. These teams, you can see, keep trying to go up and trying to find some type of peak angle, but nobody wants to crest these hillsides, because once they do, there could be somebody just on the other side of the hill also waiting to try to do the same thing. Meanwhile, Daytrade playing it very aggressive, coming out of Azahar, just walking right up on top of Infantry, trying to make sure that they find some good approach into this. Tianba's on the other side of the hillside and cannot get anything to work. Infantry is starting to retreat from this point, going back down into the dip, but that could cause its own problems. That just means that blind nades over the top of this could be absolutely catastrophe for Infantry as they move forward. Daytrade, though, is just starting to frag out across this hillside. Do note the fact that Ence is just up to the north of this and trying to get a little bit of harassment back over towards Infantry as well.
All right, there goes Mimes to the last one to fall from Soniqs as well. It's a bad day to be an EU or an NA fan, apparently, as, yeah, Rustamar's just gone down as well. The Finn falls. However, there's still a little life in them. Tixu and I think Squeaky are still around. But if they try and move forward, that might be a similar situation. Now, this battle's not coming to a conclusion fast enough to allow Ence to get away from the pressure, but you are seeing a little bit of those screws being turned there. Daytrade seem to walk away, at least for now, the victor. I think they've got one knocked, so if they get them back on their feet, they can stabilize. And Petrichor Road are just playing this real quiet, but we're starting to see that battle out towards the west. Multi-Circle Gaming, Gen.G, Afreeca Freecs, Oath, they are all there. You're seeing the Molotovs come in. We already noted them earlier on, but now a couple left in the pockets. And there's Afreeca Freecs peeking that ridgeline. The death of Gen.G potentially awaits, unless they do something about this. But just purely by position, they are in such a dire scenario, just locked into this one little divot on that western side. I'm looking at Infantry in the vehicles, maybe adjusting round towards Petrichor Road. I'm seeing Zenith as well, fighting for center circle. But these boys on the outskirts just fighting to survive. Rello with a lovely shot towards Hansia. But now the trade comes out on this side from Multi-Circle Gaming towards Gen.G. So now I think Gen.G are down to just PO, and PO's positioning is always paramount, but now he's on the run. He's trying to make it away, and did they not notice him? Did they just not see him in the vehicle? But now Summer is just left scratching his head going, wait, there was someone in the back of that? All right, no worries. I'll turn around and try and get this done, and Tank helps him out. And we are seeing these western sides being worked away at.
Give him some resources to survive for a little bit longer. Meanwhile, Afreeca Freecs looks like they're opting to make the play back over towards meta.
Multi-Circle Gaming as well switched up in towards the north, and they're punishing Zenith for this. They were on the receiving end of most of this, and Zenith looking worse for wear. Multi-Circle Gaming backing in towards 10 kills, and Zenith going down. Big adjustment, big rotation from Multi-Circle Gaming to throw themselves in towards a pretty much a powerful position. Afreeca Freecs on the receiving end of a boatload of damage as Meta looking to just close in on this. Great nades coming out, and already a couple of big performances. You can see up above they have such potential. Sparky on the low ground tries to come around, but now he's got 3 players. PG's found him. Oh no, Sparky's dead. This is a disaster. Not good enough for Meta, not clean enough, and you've only got one left standing. As now everyone piles on in. We are losing most of those teams on the extremities now.
Daytrade has just been up in this high ground point, harassing everyone. Meta tries to make something work out of it, but they're just going to have to walk away from that position. Remember, all those kills they stacked up do not matter in this. It's all about the chicken dinner. Daytrade sitting at 9, just 1 member up, and a lot of casualties for these very aggressive teams back over towards the south, west, and east. Meanwhile, Petrichor Road just chilling.
Cautionary nade saying, look, boys, back it up. 9. Yeah, see what we did to those cars? Could have been you. So just, whee! That car was very keen on getting involved. But for now, Infantry have been kind of put on notice. All right, boys. Multi-Circle Gaming very much here, unafraid to fight, keep in mind. But if they press that circle, they're in the open, and 9's found 1. Double dips on the peak, but put down to 10 HP. He can't really keep doing this. That goes a little bit of time for someone to back away, and you can see Mamu wants to get involved. There's a chance. Ooh, Flash, lucky to be alive.
I'm just impressed with Multi-Circle Gaming and how they're handling this right now. 9, sure, managing to hold out, gets the knock onto 1, but 11 kills at this stage, and no fearsome Flash! No hesitation from him, still trying to go for it, and reload, coming up and doing some damage into the backside of Infantry. Now 9, the last one up. Petrichor Road taking a little bit of casualty off to the side of this. Flash just being a consistent problem with him off to the side of this, and somehow clinging to life. Car flips over, and oh, he does go down to it. So Petrichor Road now, look. This is the play that we needed to see coming out from Petrichor Road if they wanted this. They needed to get some type of vantage point to harass these other teams. 9 in a lot of trouble back over on one side of this, but you can see Multi-Circle Gaming starting to cluster together that they know They're going to have to try to make an aggressive play into this and starting to look back over towards that little bit of a wall. Shots are going to be coming up from the high ground, and Petrichor is continuing to punish. Mamu is down off from the other angle for this, but it's going to be a slow and steady push coming up from Multi-Circle Gaming. Mill holding the line, waiting to see if anybody peeks through. It's a back and forth vantage point, but doesn't spot out either one of them. Multi-Circle Gaming realizing the fact that they don't have to push into this, they just have to wait for everybody from Petrichor Road to leave it.
With Mamu down again, this is getting troubling times. Yes, some vision was had, but Multi-Circle Gaming on the correct adjustment. Putting themselves next to the compound, you said it. They're now living in the shadow, sure, but they don't get spotted. So Mill and Axeleft are now in a little bit of a spot of bother. They want to get rid of these players, these parasites holding onto their side, but how do you get rid of them? These guys have numbers, and if they get past that window, if Mill sees them here, oh, here we go, Molly gets sent in, Mill forced to fight now, swings out on the window, gets tagged up, and now he's outnumbered. He's got guns now everywhere, just staring him down. He's tucked in, praying for safety, but he's picked up by 9 out of nowhere. They decided to ignore.
Tank, point man for his team, trying to fight this with Drew, but the blue is right at Multi-Circle Gaming's back. 9 is somehow holding this one together. Mill looking back over towards Multi-Circle Gaming, goes for the spray back over towards him, finally gets him down, looks back over on the